Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Experience, where we talk about all things Abu Dhabi real estate. I'm delighted to have as our guest today Andrew Covill. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you, Ben. Pleased to be here.
He is the owner of Henry Wiltshire International Abu Dhabi branch.
Correct.
Fair enough to say, yeah. And today we're going to be talking about supply, demand, and infrastructure projects in Abu Dhabi. So, just quickly, Andrew, where do you see the market at the moment in Abu Dhabi? Up, down, sideways?
Up a lot.
Yeah.
Short answer, really. What we've seen over the last year or so is huge population growth. Been reported in the media a lot. I think the figures were doubling over the last 10 years, but we've really felt it in the last year or two. Just everywhere's busy. Tried to go to Yas Mall the other evening, could hardly get a parking space.
Yeah.
How that's changed over the years. Turning that to the market, yeah, there's a lot of people moving here. They want to rent, a lot want to buy. There's a lot of pressure on properties, so it's busy, which is good, but there is quite a shortage of certain types of stock, and it's putting the pressure on prices, which both rents and sales we're seeing up a lot.
I mean, we see a lot in the media, and I hate these figures, but I mean, I guess they're important, but without context it doesn't make any sense. You know, we've sold 34% more real estate than we did this time year, and it's like so many billion and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's very much kind of what the market's doing now, which is what we were talking about there. But obviously people are buying because they see a future. I mean, you know, real estate's a little bit different to other stuff where, you know, if you buy stocks and shares, you want it to go up in the next 6 months or Bitcoin or whatever, but you realistically want to hold your property for, you know, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So people are, you know, I guess people are seeing a future in Abu Dhabi real estate that they haven't seen before. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, first and foremost, people are buying homes, so somewhere to live. They're relocating here.
Yeah.
So the first reaction normally is to rent somewhere, but we're seeing an increasing amount of people that are actually coming here and saying, I think I'm going to be here for a few years, which is very different to what I saw when I came here 17 years ago. People would come for 1 or 2 years. Now, I think people come with a mindset to be here, I don't know, 5, 10, maybe longer.
How long were you coming for when you first came out?
Probably a couple of years.
Yeah.
I've been here 17 and I'm not going anywhere soon. So yeah, and then I think people are actually thinking, you know, the rents are high, let's look at buying. Mortgages are pretty freely available and attainable, and people come into good jobs here. So a lot are actually taking the plunge and buying straight away. So, you know, we just didn't see that before, really. But obviously then you've got the security. Some people are renting for a year or two, and then the properties are being sold as a tenant. You've obviously got to give access to buyers coming in, and it's quite disruptive, which we all understand. So to have the security of owning your own home, not having people coming in, making changes, enhancements, painting the walls, your kitchen, whatever it might be. But then to come to your question about investment, yeah, it's obviously your home is hopefully your long-term investment. Your castle. But a straight investor just looking to get rental income and wait for the price to go up and pay down the mortgage. I think people are truly believing in the future of Abu Dhabi, and they can see that growth and hopefully slow, steady, sustained growth. It has jumped a lot in the last year or two.
And particularly in certain areas.
In certain areas, absolutely.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, we've been here a while, so we saw the period, like say 2015 to 2021, where I think there were still people happy to live here and happy to work, and saw a future, I think, for Abu Dhabi, but they didn't buy. I mean, like, you know, the prices were going down slowly, but going down about 10% year on year, and they didn't buy. And I guess now people are buying because, I don't know, they see that the prices are going up, the rents are going up. You think that's like the main motivation?
I think so.
Or you think it's more of a future that they see
probably
in
a
Abu
bit
Dhabi?
of both. As I say, people that are renting, the rents are going up, and the lack of security, so that's pushing them into buying. But I think people are truly seeing the future here. They're seeing a lot of people moving internationally to Abu Dhabi. We're seeing a lot of people coming from Dubai as well, which is an interesting move. Yeah. A couple of cases recently I can see a lawyer who's got offices in both DIFC and ADGM, and they're thinking the traffic's got crazy in Dubai, it's so busy, especially families, it's a quieter place still. Yet there's enough here. A few years ago, obviously people viewed Abu Dhabi as a bit too quiet. and they saw the attraction of Dubai, but that's definitely changing. The growth of ADGM as well, it's
big.
huge success, bringing a lot of people in at all levels. I mean, we hear about the hedge funds and the investment banks and the high rollers, but obviously if they're setting up businesses and bringing people and staff in, it's all levels. So that's definitely bringing people here as well.
Yeah, I mean, talking about ADGM, so Saadiyat, was probably the first place to really kind of take off in 2021.
Yeah.
With Mamshur and HID and to a lesser extent SPV. And do you think that was off the back of people coming into the ADGM? Because at that point, Yas was moving a bit, but Reem Island, 2021, no movement. Raha Beach, no movement. Al Reef, no movement. Like these other areas, they've only kind of come around later. So do you think that ADGM was the catalyst?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, we saw certainly some big hedge funds coming in, and some of their principals were looking for very big villas. Initially to rent, but they went on to buy some at some big prices in Saadiyat, and that pulls the whole market up. And Mamshur, as you say, that's been a runaway success in terms of pricing.
Crazy.
The restaurant scene down there is very busy. People suddenly discovered it as a destination. They can see the museums coming and the Grove and the shopping centre. And then obviously the shortage of villas, so that really leaves HID, Jawaha, and as you say, SPV. But we were very busy with SPV straight after COVID. Obviously, the prices sunk to a level where suddenly people started jumping
pick
in
up
again.
some bargains.
Absolutely, and now we're seeing people buying those. They're 12 years old now, a lot of the villas, but refurbishing them and making a nice family home, or some people are actually doing it as a commercial investment to improve the product and hopefully sell it on.
Yeah, and obviously then after Saadiyat, that spilt over into Yas again, like West Yas and Yas Acres, shortage of villas, that kind of thing, and but the apartments still didn't move that much. Maybe Mayan a little bit, Ansam got stuck, and only really maybe in beginning of 2024, maybe end of 2023, we start to see Raha Beach moving, starting to come up, Reem Island starting to come up, Al Reef even kind of later. Now we're seeing a bit more broad-based kind of price increases, in Raha Beach in the last years has gone crazy.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it started with the villas. There was a definite shortage of villas, but the developments you mentioned there and the apartments. I mean, Mayan, we were selling a building there 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, and the prices, we were pushing the prices at the time and pushing the market, and I mean, what was selling at 2.4, 2.5 is over 3.5 now, and actually transacting at these levels. And Reef, you mentioned, similar. We also had 3 buildings we were selling there. We created new price levels. A 2-bedroom apartment, for example, was 800,000, and that was above the market. And we were pushing to get those sales, and now that's jumped to 1.1, 1.2 million.
Yeah, it's hard to find for 1.2.
Yeah.
And I know you guys are very strong in Bandar in particular. I mean, you could get a 2-bed there for like 1.5, 1.6. Just slightly over a year ago.
Yeah.
Now you're looking at 2.5. I mean, it's
and I even had 2 million in my head, and I was speaking to a few investors. What can I get for 2 million? Golden visa and people coming in, and I always thought of a 2-bedroom in Bandar. You should get it a bit less. But we've got a really nice one now at 2.7, and we've got a lot of interest, and I think it's going to go soon. So we've always focused a lot on Bandar. It's a great development, but as you say, suddenly I think people overlooked it for a while. They thought it's an older area,
no
near
beach,
Zaina and Bandar, but even the whole area. But they were well built. They were some of the first developments, Bandar in particular. So again, people are doing a refurbishment on some of those, and but rents have kept up accordingly. I mean, the yields are still strong. It's great for investors. I mean, maybe marginally down, but as prices have gone up, but you're still getting 6%, I guess, something like that. In Reef,
can't argue with that these days.
8%. Yeah. Where else in the world are you getting those sort of figures?
Not many places. And so obviously the price, the broad-based kind of like price increases have been driven by increased population, and we heard, I think Abu Dhabi added about 220,000 people in last year in 2024, something along those lines. And that was ADREC report said it was like a growth of 7.5% in terms of the occupancy of properties. So vacant properties were taken up and more properties were occupied. Now you can't really predict population for next year and the years after, although it does seem like people have got a lot of confidence in Abu Dhabi and the government's really trying to drive jobs and things like that. What do you say to people who say, but there's so much supply coming on, like they're building so much, there's so many launches?
Yeah, and we hear that all the time, and obviously as you drive around you see a lot of construction, so it's a fair question.
But do you see it, like I feel you see less construction than you used to?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a developing city, so there's always been construction around. And Ream Island, if you look at that, was always one here, one there, and there was always towers under construction. And I think when people drive on the Saadiyat Road, you see a lot of villas at Jubail and Saadiyat Lagoons. But actually, in the scheme of things,
Lagoons is huge.
It's huge, but in the scheme of things, I think it's maybe 1,500 villas.
So I think in all of Jubail's a weird one because there's about 1,500 villas on the whole island.
Right.
Not sure about the apartments, but Lagoons are supposed to be 2,005.
Is it that in total?
Yeah, but obviously in phases.
But there's a lot more apartments proportionally, and I suppose proportionally there's more people buying apartments. But I still see villas not oversupplied. I mean, they've all sold, let's face it. Okay, some of those people are probably hoping to sell on. But I think there are buyers for those.
At the right price, yeah, for sure.
The pricing's an interesting one.
Pricing is an interesting one, but so when someone says there's so much supply, like what's your response?
My response is, the population is growing, and we talk through some of the developments. It's what they're interested in. Is it apartments? Is it villa? Is it Ream Island? Is it Saadiyat? And generally, everywhere at the moment, we're seeing a shortage. But yes, there is supply coming. We acknowledge that. It's just if the population mirrors that increase, and as you say, we haven't seen any actual predictions, official predictions.
I think they predict to grow it out over the future, but population's a very tough one, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you can predict.
No one
it so
quite
well.
knows how many people are going to choose to come and relocate here, or how
but
many people
you
companies
can
are going to
work
hire.
out supply because obviously it all real estate's a weird one. It takes like 3 or 4 years to from launch to actually handing a project over. So supply is one that you can work out. And in ADREX H1 report again, they reckon 4.7% increase in supply every year between now and 2028. So you're looking at a population needing to match that, and the population increase has been over since 2022 it's been 6% a year. So even if we have a similar population increase and the supply that we can understand, the population is the demand, let's say, is still going to outstrip supply into 2028.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that seems.
You can't be 100% scientific on those
True,
figures, but yeah, we know how many people are moving here and seeing the growth. As I say, I've lived here for 17 years. I first visited in 2002, so Salam Street was a 2-lane road. Things just grow all the time. The airport's grown exponentially, and then you look at Dubai and how much that's. 10 years ago, people were saying, "Oh, it's oversupply. It's too big. No one else will come." And now look at it. Every time I go there, I don't recognise some areas. So I just think there's so much focus on the Middle East at the moment. See, Saudi's doing their part as well, but there's a lot of people moving from Northern Europe, from Asia as well. Seeing people coming from Hong Kong, Singapore, the companies setting up here, the tax status, the opportunity. It really, we're always positive about it. Of course, we have businesses here, and we
never trust real estate agents; they're too positive.
But I think it's blown us away. Just how many people are moving here.
Yeah,
just speaking to friends back in the UK, they said, "Oh, a friend of mine's thinking to relocate there."
And Abu Dhabi's been put on the map recently.
100%. Yeah,
by
it was always Dubai.
Disney
as well. Yeah, but it's a bit of everything. It was always Dubai.
Yeah.
But then people start hearing about Abu Dhabi. People see the sporting events and just all sorts of things, and suddenly people know Abu Dhabi. But for a long time, we were in Dubai's shadow. Let's face it. People always said Dubai, and then where's Abu Dhabi? But now, with the infrastructure we've got, the events, just the whole growth of the place, and the scene, the hotels and restaurants that you never used to have the choice. So it's a viable place, and people are choosing it.
Are you struggling with people being too positive about Abu Dhabi in terms of, let's say, sellers? So, seller, he wants to sell his property, and let's say he's a genuine seller, but he wants some of that that value before it actually arrives. Well, because of Disney, I'm putting my price up
100%, and we've seen it many times. I remember when Yas Mall was going to open, and sellers were saying, as soon as that opens, is my price going to go up? I said, well, it's not as simple as that, really. It's all spokes in a wheel or building a wall or whatever analogy you want to use, but I think they're all good things. I mean, the Disney announcement is a great thing. Puts Abu Dhabi on the map, one of only 7 in the world. But it's going to take a number of years to arrive. But I think it's another confidence booster. We've got the theme parks and the mall before that, and all the other infrastructure in Yas, the airport close by. But then I think the announcement of Disney and the confidence that brings. Yes, it's certainly increasing demand. It doesn't have an overnight effect on prices. I think that's overstating it. And I think that just...
Sentiment, really, isn't it?
Sentiment, yeah.
Because in the end, it's a tourist attraction. Certainly some people will come here to work. They're probably not going to be... There'll be some white-collar, workers who might buy their own properties, but, there'll be a lot who don't. But it just makes people feel positive about the future. And again, like the future of their property when they sell it, but also if you buy something, the future of that property once you buy it, because, people are buying because they hope their property is, at least not going to depreciate.
Indeed. But we are seeing a lot of sellers overstating the prices.
Is it always the way, or you think it's worse now?
I think it's worse now. I just think, and because there's such a lack of supply, people look at other advertised prices and they think there's a lack of supply. Whatever else is advertised at this price, I can sell at 10% more. But the truth is, advertised prices are generally higher than transaction prices, and we all look at the transaction records, and generally, yes, they're going up, and that's what we track and we advise our clients on. That's the real market.
You're looking at the ADREC transaction ones on their website?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we look at that, which is very helpful to have
really
now.
Useful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now that they're available to everyone, you just go on ADREC's website and you can see pretty much live transaction data.
Yeah, which is great, because for a long time, we didn't have that. And people were just talking it up, and my neighbour's got this and someone's got that, and most of the time it wasn't true at all.
Yeah. My brother sold it for this. I don't think he did. I think your brother's lying to you.
There's a big macho.
Now we know.
So, but now we've got that data, and we make a big point of educating our sellers on that. This is what it's transacting at. Yes, there is a shortage, and I think you probably can get a little more now, but asking prices are not transaction prices.
Yeah.
And I think rolling into that is what's happened recently with Mad Moon, the advertising permit, which is another fantastic change for Abu Dhabi.
Good for our businesses.
Absolutely. The hundreds of fake listings that certain agencies will be putting up there for a long time, and duplicates, and just the poor consumer didn't know what the price was or what the property was. So it's a great step in the right direction. There's other efforts that they're doing as well. But what it has done is, as we know, has brought the number of listings right down. But I think on the flip side, I think some agencies, because they're so desperate to get those listings and get their numbers back up, they're quoting higher and higher prices to the sellers just to get the listing.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
And some people, I think, are just getting a permit to get a permit because, because there's so few listings on there. It's like, if I just advertise something, I'll get a lead. So you're going to an owner who's got an unrealistic price and just saying, just give me the permit.
Yeah,
give me the permit.
Because they want to have the agencies and the individual agents want to have their names up there and their branding, and to qualify for certain things on the portals, you need to have a certain number of listings. So they're doing it, and I think just to keep people happy. Yeah. The age-old thing when you speak to a seller, you advise them of the price, but so-and-so told me you could get this price. Let him do it then.
And not all real estate agents honest. Is that what you're trying
to
say? So let me put you on a spot here. We're talking about, let's say, kind of like future supply. What project that's coming up are you, let's say, most excited about in Abu Dhabi? Something that's going to be handed over in the next couple of years. Anything like you're really interested in?
I mean, I think the existing areas we've spoken about are reaching Yas Island, for example, is reaching a more of a mature stage, and that. But I think if you look to new areas, I think Hadariat's a very interesting one. I think it's an amazing master plan when you look at who's put it together and the effort they put into it. I mean, the island is half the size of Abu Dhabi Island, to put it into context. It's huge. There's not been any freehold development on that side. If you think about it, everything has been in a curve from Raha Beach round to
the Northern
Yas
Islands,
Island,
basically,
Jubail round to Saadiyat and back to Reem. So it's all in an arc on that side. So I think it's taken a while for people to sort of understand it and get their heads around, that's a new development.
And people talk about that as like source of massive supply, but if you look at, I like plugging this report so much, the ADREC report, by the end of 2028, they reckon about 800 units will be handed over on Hudayriyat only.
Yeah, it's not that many.
It's like
in the
incredibly like low density, development. Like Jubail. Jubail's a huge island, but it's incredibly low density.
Yes.
When you see like there is a focus, I think, on these new villa projects to not have, let's say, an Al Reef where you're getting a lot of like townhouses together, and even like Noya, the first couple of phases, there is more of a drive towards having these villas with big plots and stuff like that.
Which is great, because there was a lot of criticism in the past
Better
about
quality living, right?
developers are packing them in.
Yeah.
People want their space, and if you're buying a villa, you want a decent garden, a bit of space, and a bit of privacy. Yeah. And Hudayriyat, as I say, I think they're doing a great job there, and it's so unique with the hills, and it's a good blend. You've got the apartments and the townhouses. The two hills are unique, and the other communities there. Plus, of course, on the leisure side of the island, Surf Abu Dhabi and the cycling and everything else. Yeah. It's pretty unique. So I think it'd be very interesting to see how that develops.
Yeah. Do you see anywhere? Sorry to cut in. Yeah. Do you see anywhere where there's a particular imbalance of supply and demand? Either there's more supply than demand, or you think the demand in the next few years is really going to outstrip supply. So because we're still seeing, let's say that the outside areas, let's say Al Reef, Hydra, maybe Reef 2, still not a huge amount of demand. Some, and it's getting better.
It's pretty strong and pretty full, and that's the most affordable product in the market now. Yeah. I think that's what's really
been the
pushed.
Slowest to come up, right?
It has, but now it's. I mean, the figures I quoted a bit earlier. That's probably 35% increase in rents and sales.
The apartments have done very well.
The apartments have done very well. The villas, but I think again they were always the most affordable townhouse project. If you want a house,
a long way, I think.
Yeah, if you want a house as an expat. There weren't ever many options. For a long time, it was Reef and Saadiyat. Yeah. Then, obviously, Yas has come in with the villas and the Noyas and those. I think that sort of style of living in those areas, with the growth of the airport. I mean, we've been selling a lot to airport workers, engineers and those guys. And obviously, the airport's growing hugely as well. And services sustaining that area.
So you think the demand is fine for those areas? What do you think about maybe lagoons? Because it's such a massive project and pretty high end. Do you think when that hands over, there's going to be demand for?
Again, they've all sold. They all sold very quickly, and I know that usually happens from developers. It's the resale off plan that's sometimes a little trickier. But the fact they're sold, a big proportion of people probably will move in. They bought them 3-4 years ago. They probably will move in. Some are hoping to flip them. I think, again, the margin's probably not what some people have in mind, but it has moved up. There's profit there, and there are buyers there. We're reselling those at the moment. And I see generally there's still a shortage of villas. There's a lot of apartment buildings, and yes, it's a lot in one go, but there's not much else. I mean, Saadiyat Beach Villas is full. Hid is full. Jawaha, and it's a whole new area on the other side of the road. So I see that continuing, and I think there's demand and enough people moving in.
Oh, great. Well, listen, we've run out of time, I'm afraid, Andrew. Thank you very much for coming in. That was a very interesting discussion, but I think in summary, plus ça change, prices are going to keep going up. There's still a lot of demand, and supply is a little bit constrained.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. We've been the Real Estate Experience. Thank you very much, and make sure you like and subscribe.